What is something you did long ago that your parents still bring up today? When my brother was really little, he was really into WWF and WWE. He wanted to be a wrestler and he started calling himself the Muscle Man, but he couldn't pronounce muscle, so it came out muffin. We still call him the Muffin Man. He's 27. Ugh. When I dated an interesting guy for a bit in high school. He was really into swords. Every new guy I meet, the first thing they say is, "But how many swords does he have?" They think they're pretty damn funny. Throwing a dart into my brother's barefoot because I convinced myself I was good enough to throw it exactly between his toes. When I was 4, I fell off of a fence and cracked my skull. My father had just passed away, so my mother was pretty emotionally distraught at the prospect of her son sustaining a serious injury as well. It turned out not to be a big deal at all and everything healed nicely. But as you can imagine, for the rest of my childhood I was never not reminded to wear a helmet in any activity where I'd be off the ground or moving in a vehicle. Heck, she still asks whether I wore a helmet if I tell her I went on a bike ride. Be sure to wear a helmet. You don't want to crack your skull again. Thanks, Mom. I will. Oh, another one came to mind, so here. As a kid I thought there were 5 seasons: summer, fall, winter, spring and Easter. Now every year on Easter they tell me how it's lovely that the season has changed and spring is already over. I was the flower girl at a wedding. All they told me was to sprinkle the petals on the aisle as I walked. Being a fastidious kid, I made a nice, neat row of petals down one side of the aisle. Mom loves to bring that up. And there's even a picture of the perfect row of petals. I didn't get to walk in my high school graduation. Had to go to 2 weeks of summer school over some bullshit. But whatever. I've graduated college, graduated graduate school, walked at all of them just for my mom. I'm now a full-time college professor and my mom still holds not walking in my high school graduation over my head. 5 years old, went to Dairy Queen. It was August, and as I sat in the backseat enjoying my dilly bar, it was melting faster than I could eat it. We were at a light when my dad noticed the mess I was making on his Thunderbird seats. He reached back and held out his hand and said, "Gimme that." So I did. Plopped it in his hand, splattering melted ice cream all over the car. When I was 6 or 7, I was outside playing on our swing set. As I was swinging, I was looking at the ground and saw a fruit snack. It was covered in dirt, but I stopped swinging, picked it up, blew the dirt off, and was about to stick it in my mouth when suddenly I hear my mom banging on the dining room window, motioning me to come inside. She told me if I wanted a fruit snack I just needed to ask, and then she gave me a pack of them. She has told this story to every friend or boyfriend I've ever introduced her to. It's not even that funny or great of a story, but it's the one story she has that she thinks will embarrass me. But I was a kid, and I saw a fruit snack. Of course I was going to try to eat it. Whenever my parents are talking with other parents about shenanigans pulled by young children, my dad likes to bring up the time he came home from work to see 3-year-old me up on the kitchen counter with an entire package of cinnamon raisin bagels having been split in half and de-raisined. He asked me what I was doing and I very proudly exclaimed, "I'm eating raisins." I made a bad grade in high school for not turning in my assignment. That was over 10 years ago and they still use it to question my work ethic. Not me, but my brother. He did a lot of odd things as a kid, to be honest, but this frequently gets brought up. As a young teenager, like 13-15, he was constantly sneaking up on people. I guess he thought he was working on his recon skills. But when my dad would have his pals over drinking around a fire, my brother would sneak up on them by belly crawling in the grass. They always saw him. When I was turning like 5 or 6, my mom joked that she was taking away my birthday because I was growing up too fast. I freaked out because I'm a kid and I love my birthday. Now I'm 27 and every year on my birthday she says I'm a year younger because she took away my birthday that one time. I was 14 and I was really into this guy that was older than me and had a beard. My dad was upset. Anyways, my dad hated this guy, would ground me to keep me away from him. I understand, Dad, so we would meet up at the local mall. And I would tell my dad I was meeting up with some friends. So one day he drops me off and says you better not be meeting up with that Tyler kid, and I said, of course not, I am so well behaved etc. I go in and meet up with Tyler, obviously. So he buys me some stuff from Hot Topic. And at Hot Topic when you use your membership card it will say your name at the top of the receipt. I get home and my dad knows he didn't give me money. But I had a huge Hot Topic bag. I told him my friend had birthday money and bought it for me. Cue suspicious looks. So later that night he calls me into the kitchen and says, so you didn't see Tyler today? Instant denials. And he grabs the Hot Topic bag and reads the receipt. Hey Tyler, thanks for visiting Hot Topic. Your point balance is XXX. I was grounded for 3 weeks. I didn't get to keep the stuff. My dad brings this up all the time to tell me what a sleuth he is. When I was a couple months old, I was being really fussy and my parents didn't know why. I think I was naked on a changing table. And then I sort of curled up and unloaded a massive amount of projectile poop on the wall. My parents think it's hilarious. But I just find the story to be rather embarrassing and gross. I'm not particularly artistic and it's never really been a part of my identity. Regardless, I could draw competently as a kid. And I once brought home a cabin I drew in art class in 7th grade. It was alright-ish. My mom was just flabbergasted. She's told literally every girlfriend I bring home. And every new group of friends I make. I'm now 44 years old. And she is still going on about it. My Jewish mother still reminds me how she was in labor for 10 hours before I was born. It's like it was my fault. And that I had some control over it. She says you don't remember. But it's the truth. Of course I don't remember. Ma. That's just the typical Jewish guilt machine working its wonders. Opposite. Back in the 1990s my mother constantly gave me tons of shit for buying Pokemon cards. They'll be worthless in a few years. etc. etc. It got to the point where she confiscated my collection. Permanently. Because I got grounded for something school related. Years later, whilst in college, I returned home and rummaged through my old belongings and found my old Pokemon card collection. Sold a few different cards for a total of about $3,000. Then used that to buy her a really nice Mother's Day present. I make sure to bring it up to her at least once per year. When I was in elementary school my mom was talking to my teacher about paying for a field trip. We were a low-income family. And I decided to tell her that the budget's so tight it squeaks I'll never live it down. I will also never live down my kindergarten yearbook picture. I was subtly flipping off the camera and it got published. Unedited. It's my family's favorite picture of me. Edit. Because people want to see it. Enjoy kindergarten me. Link. Fell out of a moving pickup truck while my dad took a curve. He thought he ran me over. Not me. My husband. Neither me or his family will let him forget this. When he was probably 8-10 he would trade 10 cents for any quarters they had. Telling them that the 10 cents were baby quarters and they'd grow up to be quarters. Faced with tears of jaw. When I was 3 or 4. I was playing by the stair banister. I told my older brother to watch me put my head in between them. And I'd be able to pull it back out. No problem. Then I got stuck. They won't let me forget that one. When I was a toddler, I put the entire palm of my hand on the inside of a hot oven door. Pretty serious burns and blisters later. My parents still bring it up to this day. You let yourself out of a moving vehicle and get run over by your mom's car one time and you never hear the end of it. Flipped a four-wheeler bike going backwards down a hill. Broke my leg in 3 spots and crushed my growth plate. Dad specifically said not to do that. To top it off, the I went to told me it was just a sprained ankle and that I could walk. I tried walking. My leg complete collapsed and all I could hear was bone hitting bone. Backstory: when I had moved to a new town, there was this kid and a group of his friends who constantly harassed me and called me Jew boy. It didn't bother me, and I'm not even Jewish. The kids did attack me several times though. Story: went to a family reunion several months after moving to the new town, only to find out I was distantly related to the main aggressor bully of the group. We played touch football in a large group of people, and he was on the other team. I was running the ball down the field when this kid got in front of me and said, "Looks like I'll be the one to take down Jew boy." I lost my shit. I threw the football down and tackled him, just punching him until my knuckles were sore. I'd never attacked anyone like that. I had to be pulled off him by several adults, and my parents were basically mortified by my actions.